What's up, everyone? Coop here. Time for another episode of You Can't Make This Shit Up. Episode 4, opening day snafus. Had a few people say to me, hey, when are you going to put out another episode? Well, the time is now. Alright, so at this point you think that I'm probably, you know, nothing happens to me out there in the woods that you just can't make up. Well, it does, and it happens frequently. If anyone tells you that every hunt they've gone on has gone perfectly, well, they're just lying to you. I hate to tell you, they are liars. Because at some point in time, you're bound to have a screwed up hunt. For me, typically, those hunts are opening day, bow season, whitetail, like clockwork. I got 2 stories for you. Both of them are opening dayers, and you honestly just can't make this shit up. So the first story, I was guiding a bunch of guys over in eastern North Carolina, opening day archery. Everybody's jazzed up. We're up early. I get about 8 different fellas to the stand, strap on my tree harness, and I go get in a hang-on stand up on this nice food plot full of clover and a feeder mineral site. Had a nice little hang-on stand. Well, I climb up in this stand, and because of TBIs and stuff like that, I get vertigo pretty easy at that height on those little hang-on stands. So I spend most of the time sitting on those little uncomfortable platforms, and I really only stand if I really need to make a shot that way. Otherwise, I'll just shoot from the sitting position. Well, on this particular day, big fat nanny doe comes out. First harvest of the year. Try to harvest does in the early season. That way the bucks don't have to work as hard in the rut, and then they don't burn up as much body fat, which is supposed to lead to more antler growth in the winter time, because they don't have to work as hard to put all that lost body weight back on. Supposed to make them healthier, racks get bigger, XYZ. One of the theories out there, right? So we'd like to harvest our does in the early season, if at all possible. Keep all the the numbers in check at healthy numbers. So in the stand this day, sun comes up, cracking. Can start hearing some deer moving. Nice fat nanny doe comes out. Well, old nanny's standing there. She's getting some corn. I decide I'm going to take her. Got an arrow on the string. Shooting a PSC Boatman, this XL at that time. Get an arrow on the string. Get my release hooked up, and I pull the bow back to full draw. Well, as soon as I got back to full draw, what I didn't realize was that one of the tree stand pegs, one of the pegs that you screw into the tree, was right behind my elbow. I didn't do any practice draws prior when I first got in the stand. I didn't do any when I set that particular stand up. Well, I come to full draw, and my elbow hits that tree stand peg dead on my funny bone, which caused my finger to hit the release and slung an arrow right down 5 feet in front of that doe. And it hurt like an SOB. There was nothing funny about it. The doe just looked around like, what the hell was that? And she just walked off. In the meantime, I'm sitting there. Nobody saw me do it, but I'm sitting there feeling like a fool. Elbows throbbing, and there was 0 deer the rest of that morning hunt. I owned it like a man. Went back and told the guys the story. We all got a good chuckle out of it. That very same morning, obviously I'm getting my balls broke, as is warranted, right? Because you just can't make that shit up. Who comes to full draw and smacks their funny bone on a tree stand peg? Me. So that same morning, a friend of mine's hunting with an Excalibur crossbow. sends a text, shot a fat nanny, X-ring, perfect shot, double lung, you know, like, okay, awesome. You know, I'll give it, you know, I'm gonna give it 20 minutes, I'm gonna go check her out. Okay, roger that. So he goes to check her out, follows blood, comes up on her under an oak tree eating acorns. He said she's just sitting there looking all wobbly and stuff like that, and she falls over. He were on a group thread texting. He's like, hey man, she just fell over, gotta be dead, not sure. And I said, you got your knife on you? And he said, yeah. I said, it's the hard heart that kills. It's the hard heart that kills. So he pulled his knife out, ran up to her. That doe stood up, took off, jumped into the Neuse River, never to be seen again. You just can't make that shit up. Opening day, Snafu. Second year in a row. Year after that, same buddy whose deer jumped into the river. I was putting him in a nice little honey hole, and I forgot my climbing stand. He's like, hey man, use mine, no big deal. He's got a different stand than I have. It's a climber, no big deal. Well, I get everybody in the stands. I go to where I'm gonna set up, realize I forgot my tree stand harness. I definitely recommend using a harness. I, at this point, will not hunt even in a hang-on without a harness, especially bow hunting. Well, I forgot my harness. I figured to myself, we'll only go up about 12-15 feet. Everything will be all right. Well, get this tree stand strapped up. I start easing on up the tree, get up to about 10-12 feet. Think I got it set. Well, I turn around, I sit down in the seat, and the seat collapses straight to the foot platform. Well, now I'm in a pickle. I'm in a conundrum because I am sitting on the footrest. The seat and the support that's with it is around my knees, and now I got to figure out, I mean, I'm 6'4", about 250 pounds. I got to figure out how I can safely get this stand back up in a safe area. So after about 10 minutes of strength, sweat, and trying to be as safe as possible, I finally get that thing rigged back up and get set in the seat, and I have it set, and I basically finished out the hunt just because I needed to be out in the woods alone, in tune with nature, because there wasn't a dang deer coming after all the racket that I made. Again, when using tree stands, use safety harnesses. If you forget them, go get it. Be safe. You can't make that shit up. Stay tuned. Here in the next couple episodes, I'm going to have a couple special guests come on and help me tell some stories. One of them being the Rooster Fallujah himself. Have a great weekend.